These niggas out here snitching, they with the rat pack.
As it attempts to approach her again, she launched the entire crane at its upper body. So we left off with 2B movie Godzilla supersizing around the building, and you know exactly what happened next. Momo, Okarun, and copycat Kinta all put on the burners trying to run down the hall as the monster tore through the building with a single swipe. Okarun points our attention to the sky, and we peep that it's the alien black night sky overhead, which tells us that this was never a spirit kaiju they were dealing with. It was an alien kaiju the entire time. They finally get outside and start sprinting down the city block. And timeout. Adrenaline must have been doing numbers in Kinta's body because he was low-key keeping pace with Momo and Okarun while they were all successfully outpacing a 300 feet tall Goliath of a space dinosaur. We skip across town and see Ira outside of a shop alone, and Gigi comes rushing on over to her. This is the first time he's ever been stuck in a domain expansion, and it actually makes sense because despite his spiritual capabilities and affinity before, this is the first time it happened while the evil eye was inside of him.
What did he say?
Time it happened while the evil eye was inside of him. They run after the voices of Momo and Okarun, which was a terrible idea, might I add. But they found out real quickly as a cloud of dust appeared on the street and Momo wasted no time screaming that they needed to run in the opposite direction. It looked like Kinta's build finally caught up to him though, because he dramatically tripped and cried out for help, admitting that he can't run forever, obviously. Right before the alien dinosaur stomped him out like your uncle does his cigarettes when he's done with them, Momo and Ira throw nearby cars at the dinosaur as Okarun goes Super Saiyan emo to drag Kinta out of the way. Momo tells Gigi to take Kinta and run while they hold off the beast. Ira temporarily disables it by wrapping her hair around its head and covering its eyes. But then, brother, is that a hyper beam? Bro charged up the energy blast like a few other huge creatures we know but will no longer compare it to due to licensing and copyright concerns, and the beam was so strong, it literally disintegrated her hair. Luckily, she jumped away at the last moment though. It then let out a crushing roar that was louder than my mom calling out my name when she sees my final grades from the classes of this semester. Ira starts cooking right after this though and slams a car straight into the head of the space kaiju and then calls out to Momo so she could target its legs with another car. It falls down but uses its tail to ward off Okarun and Momo's advances temporarily. Ira then gets another bright idea and wraps her hair around a nearby crane and several surrounding buildings while waiting for the alien dinosaur to rise back up and fight. As it attempts to approach her again, she launched the entire crane at its upper body. It staggered back but managed to grab the crane and throw it to the side as well. Then it grabbed Ira. No! Momo tries to distract it by throwing billboards at its face, but it just pissed the monster off. Ira manages to use her hair to break free though and retreats into an alleyway. The space kaiju then starts looking for her, and realizing that it was too hard with so many buildings nearby, bro just straight up karate chops the top off a nearby one and then starts rampaging, giving every single skyscraper nearby a piece of its mind. It then released another hyper beam from the cloud of smoke that surrounded it and knocked Momo off of Okarun's back and turned him back regular. Momo throws up a shield bubble to protect him like she's Sue Storm from the Fantastic Four. Then Okarun tries putting together 2 and 2 to figure out what 4 is. He believes the monster to be a descendant of the dinosaurs from 200+ million years ago, and also it adapted to live in space and learned how to harness cosmic energy to convert it into electrical power using its horns. He then gambles by making the assumption that they can stop it if they cut off the light source that it's using. Ira steps up once again and she says she'll divert its attention in the meantime so Okarun can cook. As Ira dodges the blast to get in close, Momo manages to make big spirit hands and turn the hyper beam attack back against the space dinosaur. This actually worked and temporarily disabled it on the ground while Ira pulled up on cleanup timing. But the dinosaur had other plans and instead turned the tables by switching on its invisibility as she descended from the sky. She starts bragging, thinking it ran away and the fight was over, but Okarun and Momo quickly put her on game. Unfortunately, Okarun was late with the slave and the blast of an attack impact sends her flying. She retransforms and gets airborne again but can't see through the cloud of dust around the beast. It takes this chance to charge up another hyper beam and blow her out of the sky. We see it follow up by raising its head and slamming it into onto the roof of the building that she fell onto. Then it let out a devious bellow as if it had already triumphed over our dancing beauty. We then get a scene switch and we see that Gigi is truly a specimen. Because what do you mean he ran with Fatty on his back all the way from the city to the residential town area? They start to have a little bit of banter and Gigi tells bro he needs to cool out with the sweating, and Quinta, not knowing any better, took it as an insult. And time out, how the heck are you sweating when the man that's been carrying you for over a mile is not sweating? You can't be that big, there's no way. Literally less than 30 seconds later, his sweaty ass cheeks connect with Gigi, who is dry as an athlete in a deodorant commercial. He drops Quinta on the ground and starts fighting against the urge to transform into the evil eye. He manages to stave it off and then turns to face Quinta and politely asks him to seriously cut that mess out. But this fat ass turns his no-neck having dome so fast that his blubbery cheeks projectile launch sweat all over Gigi. And honestly, with all that velocity, I'm surprised that it somehow didn't drop any into his mouth, because that was the only thing that could have made this whole situation worse. Of course, however, Gigi couldn't resist this much cold and slimy liquid, and the evil eye came out. And right off the wake up, bro asked him, "Who are you? Do you want to be murdered?"
Jesus Christ.
As he ripped off the backpack and launched it into deep space. And somehow Quinta could tell that he changed too, which is unusual because nobody that's a normie ever does. The evil eye turns his back on Quinta and goes to walk off, but Quinta stops him talking about what Momo told him to do. The evil eye misunderstood and thought today was the day he would get to face off against Okarun and starts bolting towards Momo's house, with Quinta shouting and running behind. We return to the battlefield and see the space dinosaur about to down slam Ira, but at the last possible second, Okarun goes all out and saves her. The issue, however, is that this was his second time today, which means our boy, our nerdy king, is all out of fuel. Momo saves him from falling, and then the backpack that the evil eye launched across the city slammed into the dome of the dinosaur. They took this chance to hit the dash, but unfortunately Ira wouldn't wake up, so Momo had to run all the way home while carrying them in her spirit hands over her head. They finally get back, and we realize that Ira was clinging to Okarun like a baby sloth to its mama while enjoying every second of it the entire time. We get a cute and jealous moment between her and Momo as Momo tries to pry her off of him, and then we see Quinta and the evil eye enter the frame. The evil eye thinks it's finally time to run the fade, so bro is cheesing. Okarun has to break the news to him, and then Momo asks Okarun if they should ask the evil eye for help because they are clearly at a disadvantage. Okarun reminds her about the promise for the evil eye to only fight him and the potential consequences that could come of it if they enlisted his assistance. Granny Seiko was in another prefecture doing a television show, so now they have to cook up a winning parlay all on their own. As the space dinosaur makes his way out of the city and walks down on them at the shrine, Okarun comes up with the idea to use the nanomachines that Mantesian gave them to rebuild their house in order to win the fight. However, Okarun struggles with mentally conjuring up something useful and big, and then for the first real time, it looks like the Pudge Lord himself is going to come in handy, because sci-fi is right up his alley. Bro turns the entire house into a giant Buddha Gurren Lagann. Then he ruins the vibe by calling it Great Quinta Bodhisattva Zeta version.
It's pretty difficult to put into words how disgusted I am.
He then gets all high and mighty and tells the robot to fight the dinosaur, but it just sits there in place like a statue as the Dollar Tree Kaiju continues to walk them down. If you enjoyed this episode and you're looking forward to the real face down for the last episode to conclude this season, go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, hype this video, consider becoming a member to help support the content, and I'll see you, ladies and gentlemen, in the next one. And like I always say, AYC, what you got for me?
These niggas out here snitching. They with the rat pack.
Your theme is peace.